Hello everyone. Tonight we're going to be in the kitchen and we're actually going to be making my favorite fish. I'm going to be showing you how to cook smelt. And this is just adding something in there, but the main dish I'm looking at featuring is a Spanish fried potatoes. This recipe comes inspired by Spain on a Fork. That man has some amazing, on top of a Mediterranean dish, y'all, they have some amazing dishes, whether they be side or main dishes. So I'm going to share these potatoes with you because these could go good with any meat source. They could go good with with a fish. They can go good with say you just wanted steaks, or if you wanted a nice bean dish, you can add these on the side and just have an all vegetarian. So for one day or whatever, or unless you are a vegetarian, this would work. So I'm going to be linking that recipe to you, and we're going to also make this dish. I really can't wait to try it because it looks amazing. So, and it does have those Spanish flavors, from smoked paprika to saffron to a little bit of oregano, some garlic, and we are going to be using our mortar and pestle for this because we're going to make a paste, and then we're going to thin the paste out to go into our potatoes. So y'all, let's get started. Okay y'all, so we're going to get started first. He said about about a cup of oil, olive oil, or now he's using olive oil as well as I am, but you can use canola oil if you like. Let me set this up a little better. There you go. So now you can see this better. So we're going to start. Now I have some leftover dipping, so I'm going to add these seasonings into here. It's not going to hurt anything. You know, I take a recipe and I always usually change it up anyways, so I'm not wasting, and I've been wanting to use this, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this to fry up in my potatoes. And then I'm going to add, now I'm cooking for one basically on this, so for me it would be about a half a cup of oil. Now while this is heating up, I'm going to go ahead and cut up our potatoes. Now in the recipe it's called for yellow Yukon Golds. I don't have it, so I'm going to make do with what I have. Remember y'all, our life has changed, so I'm going to make do with what we do have, what becomes on sale. And I had found some red potatoes on sale for $2.99, so I purchased them. So we're going to use the red potatoes instead of the yellow, and these have been washed. He peels his potatoes. I am actually going to keep my skins on because they are actually nutrients and vitamins within these skins, hence the reason you want to wash them. So let me go ahead and get a knife, and I'll be right back because we are going to cut these. Alright, so the way he showed to cut them would basically be cutting them down, making into quarters. So you'll cut them in half basically and come back and you'll slice them like so, making sort of nice thick wedges. I am actually going to take it down a size, y'all, about half of that. I like my potatoes fried. Basically we usually get them thinner, but for this I'm going to go just about a quarter to almost a half inch. So this is how I'm going to slice mine. I want them just slightly thick than what I normally do with the southern fried potato way, but I don't want them super thick like these are. You can choose to cut them any way you would like though. So I am going to set these aside. As I'm cutting these, we're going to set these aside because these are going to go in our, we're waiting for our oil to get hot. So I am basically, for me, I'm going to take my potato like this, cut it directly in half like so, and I'm going to come back and slice them about that inch or half inch to quarter inch like I showed y'all. So they're slightly thicker, but not as thick as he does. So we're going to come back here. Now the recipe calls 2¼ pounds. Of course, I am not going to use that much because it's just me, and I don't want to have too much extras because I'm learning not to waste. So this will probably be my last one. Now I do have some that I washed, but that's quite all right. There we go. Now this should be enough for one person. I have a nice ramekin dish, and this will make a good enough portion for one person for what I need it for. I'm also going to be making, or I have some corn salad, Mediterranean corn salad that I have, so I'm going to have that with this. Where I'm going to come back when our oil is heated up. We are going to be adding our garlic next. Okay, so y'all, the next step, it calls for 6 cloves of garlic. So I'm going to add these, and you just want to slightly fry these up for a few minutes. They're not going to stay in this oil. We're just going to get them to where they're slightly browned. We just mix them up in here in this oil. It's flavoring the oil, but it's kind of roasting the garlic. And we're going to use that to put in our pesto. Or our mortar mix, basically, because we're going to make this into a paste. Now I am going to use my smaller mortar and pesto. I don't particularly like this one because I'm going to try it with this. If it don't work, I'm going to get my big one. But seeing as how I'm just making a paste out of this, we'll see how it goes. Now you can use as much garlic as you would like, because I'm finding, y'all, that lately garlic is, well, it's small. So, and I'd love to get some for Missouri Standard. I gotta wait, but 5 pounds of garlic, which I go through it, it'd be well worth getting, but it's like $36 for it. So, and I can usually get, I think it's a 2 or 3 pound bag of garlic from Sam's Club, but the difference is it's smaller heads. So weigh out my options here. So I just accommodate by getting just a few more extra cloves. Alright, this is about done. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add this into my mortar. We're going to turn this into a paste here in a minute. In the meantime, now we're going to go ahead and add our potatoes in, and we're going to fry these up. We're going to let that do that while we work on our paste now. Get these separated. Let this do its thing. And we'll come back and do our pesto, or our garlic mix. So we'll be right back. Alright, y'all, let's make up our mix. Now we're going to we added our fried garlic into our mortar. So now we're going to need 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. Now, just know that you're going to see it different from me because, well, you know, I'm making it for one person. But I will give you the link to the recipe for this one. Now, this is my homegrown oregano. Now I need a 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Yeah, it gets on my edges sometimes. And I need a 1/4 teaspoon of saffron threads. And if you're not familiar with saffron threads, it is this. Now I do order this from, boy, that's potent. I do order this from Amazon, and I will tell you, a little bit goes a long way with this, y'all. Yes, I'm using less because the flavor is very powerful. So this is a 3-gram container, and this one container, I make a one-time purchase, and this lasts me for quite a while. So I don't know exactly. I can look it up right quick for you, so hang on and I'll give you, I may even put the link. I'll put the link from Amazon into the description also for that saffron. So let me show you what it is first though. Okay. Let's see, 3 gram size. It's 0.10 ounces. It's $21.95. But again, like I said, y'all, that goes a very long ways. The flavor is intense. It is great with saffron rice. I have saffron beans, butter beans that I use in there, and it just enhances the flavor of your dishes. And now I need 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh parsley, which I have some from my garden. So I am going to chop some of the leaves here and add that in this. I'm going to pull this aside. And I need about a tablespoon for me, so I think this will do it. You can use some of the stems too, y'all. So I'm just going to chop these up just a little bit. Like I said, if this doesn't work in this, I'm going to go getting my other one. So go ahead and add this in here. Alright, y'all, and now I need a little bit of sea salt or kosher salt. So I'm just going to add just a little bit here for flavoring. I can always season it up later. Now we're going to take and mash this together, y'all. So I'm going to bash it first. Crush up that garlic. And then mix that in to my mix, and we want to turn this into a paste. So once this turns into a paste, we shall be right back and we'll go from there. Alright, y'all, so now we're going to be using 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. If you did not want to use white wine vinegar in this, you can actually use apple cider from what he stated. And that was 2 tablespoons for that. And then you need about a half a cup of water. So I'm just going to mix all this in here after this, and we made just basically a sauce. Now we're going to set this aside until our potatoes are nice and fried, which we are working on. Once they are nice golden and crisp on the outside edges and nice and tender in the middle, we're going to add our sauce and let these cook. So until then, we will be right back, and I will come back and show you what to do next. Alright, y'all. So now I'm going to take my nice golden potatoes. They're soft on the inside, crunchy on the outside. I'm going to actually take them from this oil, and we're going to drain them from it. However, I'm not getting rid of this oil, y'all. I can use it in another dish for some other reason. So I'm just going to put it in a dish and set it aside and use this for something else. A nice good seasoned olive oil doesn't need to be wasted. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to another dish for it to cool off. Let's go with our Pyrex dish here. Alright, y'all. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my potatoes back into my pan. And this sauce that we had done earlier, we're going to go ahead, mix this up really good. And we're going to pour this over the top of our potatoes. Oh my goodness, it smells so amazing, y'all. Ooh, that smells good. And now I'm just going to let this simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes or so. maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Get that flavor to absorb into our potatoes, and these will be ready, and I'll set them aside while I get prepared for the smelt. Alright y'all, I believe I did do a video on these smelt, but just in case, I'll show you what they look like. Some of you may say they're bait, but they're actually called a smelt. You can get them at Walmart, basically in a bag. And so mine are now defrosted. They are cleaned, and I am going to be using my fresh milled flour that I had done, hard white wheat. You can use any type of flour that you would like for this. It's just a coating. We have some oil heating up over here at the same time. I am going to season this up with a little salt and pepper. And add some pepper. Add some of my salt, and I'm going to be using Himalayan sea salt. And then I'm just going to add just a little bit of garlic powder to this for flavoring. So I'm going to go ahead and get my spoon, get some of my garlic powder in here, and then we're going to mix this up really good. It's just that simple. You can add oregano, basil, parsley, and all that in here if you really, really wanted to. I'm just keeping it simple because I have a lot of flavoring in my potatoes. So basically, all you do is you take your little fishes, just like so. Roll them up here into your flour mix. Coat them up really good. You don't have to dip this in egg or nothing like that. Just in there, and just pop them in your oil just like this, and then get them to their golden brown. They do not, I will tell you, they do not take long to cook, y'all. And no, you do not have to debone these or not. The bones are so tiny. It's like a salmon in a can. You can literally eat the bones because they're really not, there's nothing to worry about with these basically. These are like the little chicken fingers. People, I mean, in Norway and stuff, these are what they use instead of like our chicken fingers that we do here. So I'm just going to go ahead, fry these little babies up. And once I'm done, I'll go ahead and serve our dish and show you what we're having for supper tonight, y'all. But these are really inexpensive. They're really not that much. You get quite a bit for them. And they are packed with a lot of protein as well. I just happen to enjoy it. It's part of my heritage. I grew up with these. And it's been a really long time since I found them. And when I actually saw that Walmart brought them back, I was super excited. So, alright. And that's pretty much it, y'all. This is so simple to make. So, we'll be back. Alright, y'all, so we're going to plate this. Let me push you back to, oops, sorry about that, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and plate this. The liquid in our potatoes absorbed into the potatoes. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put my potatoes on my plate. Sorry, y'all. Hubby was asking if he's trying to take care of me. Okay, then I have my Mediterranean corn salad. And then I'm going to dress it with my schmelt. You can use this with tartar sauce if you would like. And no, these do not have scales on them either, y'all. They're just the perfect little shrimp, or the perfect little fish to me for a meal. So, and that's it, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a close-up of supper tonight and then go from there. And there we have it, y'all. These are our Spanish oregano potatoes, the Mediterranean corn salad, and the smelt. And this will be my supper. And that will be the end of our video for tonight, y'all. I hope you can find some use for this recipes. It is really have some amazing flavors. If y'all get half a chance to try some of the foods that I present on this channel, you would be surprised at the flavor pops in your mouth. Again, I will put in the link to the potato recipe in the description. I will also give you the link on how or where to get. I get it on Amazon, and I will give you the link to the type of saffron that I'm getting. Honestly, 3 grams, you get quite a bit. I'll show you. It might not look like it, but you really do. Now, I've used this 3 times already, y'all, and you get quite a bit of saffron for the $22. So, and it's going a long ways. So I will go ahead and link that in the description box below for you. Until then, y'all, I hope you enjoyed being in the kitchen with me tonight. And until next time, much love from Parton's Mediterranean Homestead.